Welcome to VMware vDefend Security for VCF 5.x. This is the module on role-based access control. I'm Chris McCain. I am a director at VMware by Broadcom, and I work specifically in the Application Networking and Security Division. In this module, we're going to be talking about role-based access control for VMware vDefend. vDefend users. The following types of users can access the vDefend environment. Local users, principal identity users, external users coming from Active Directory, Open LDAP, users managed by VMware Identity Manager, or OpenID Connect. Activating guest users, the two local users, guest user 1 and guest user 2, are inactive by default and can be activated using the vDefend user interface or the API. Role-based access control enables you to restrict system access to users based on the role that they play in the company. Users are assigned roles, and each role has specific permissions. Local users, admin, and audit are pre-configured with specific roles that cannot be modified. Guest users, principal identity users, and external users can be configured with any of the built-in roles or custom roles. It is always a good idea to apply the principle of least privilege, allowing somebody only the necessary permissions to perform the job that they have to do. Looking at the built-in roles for VMware vDefend, we have Auditor, Enterprise Admin, GI Partner Admin, LB Admin, LB Operator, NetX Partner Admin, Network Admin, Network Operator, Project Admin, Security Admin, Security Operator, Support Bundle Collector, VPC Admin, and VPN Admin. NSX provides built-in roles. Looking at the role and the description, the auditor has read permissions on all features. Enterprise admin, full access permissions on all features. The GI partner admin is a role used for third-party endpoint protection service insertion. The LB admin, read permissions on all networking services and full access permissions on load balancing features. The LB operator, read permissions on all networking services and load balancing features. The NetX partner admin is the role used for third-party network introspection service insertion. And the network admin, full access permissions on all networking services. Continuing on, the network operator, read permissions on all networking services and execute permissions on monitoring and troubleshooting tools. Org admin, perform CRUD operations in the allocated org object in a multi-tenancy environment. The project admin performs CRUD operations in the allocated project object in a multi-tenancy environment. The security admin has full access permissions on all security configurations. Security operator has read permissions on all security configurations and execute permissions on monitoring and troubleshooting tools. Support bundle collector, permission only to generate a support bundle. VPN admin, read permissions on all networking services and full access permissions on VPN features. You do have the ability to also create custom roles. So custom role-based access control or custom RBAC features enables you to create custom roles in addition to the existing built-in roles. Custom RBAC has the following common use cases. Provide flexibility to create custom roles and grant custom permissions to vDefend users. Extend the current RBAC capabilities beyond the built-in roles with pre-configured permissions. And lastly, to help companies meet regulatory guidelines and compliance requirements for role-based access control. To create a custom role, you can either clone an existing role or you can create a role in the user interface. You can see in the screenshot the opportunity to add role as well as the opportunity to clone a role. You set permissions for the new role. The screenshot shows the read-only option, but also the ability to dig in and set permissions on individualized services within both networking and security. Networking, of course, referring to the VCF networking constructs provided by NSX. The role assignment, you can add, change, and delete role assignments for users or user groups by going to System, Settings, User Management, and User Role Assignments. Clicking Add Role for Providers and selecting a user type. Select Search Domain. Search for the users or user groups that you want to assign the roles to. Select the role or roles and click Save. LDAP integration. The Lightweight Directory Access Protocol, or LDAP, is an internet protocol for accessing and managing distributed directory services. Distributed directory services store information about users and groups, the network infrastructure, and network services. NSX and vDefend support the following directory services or identity sources: Active Directory over LDAP, probably the most common, as well as Open LDAP. The benefits of integrating LDAP. Integrating LDAP with vDefend allows you to reuse the existing directory service infrastructure for providing access to security role-based access control in vDefend. Integrating LDAP with vDefend does not require the deployment of the VMware Identity Manager appliance, and it is simple to configure and manage. Authentication with LDAP operates as follows. Whether using the UI or the API, the first step will be a login request to the manager. Second, an LDAP bind request to the Active Directory or Open LDAP service. A response is then sent back, the LDAP bind response, to the manager, and then from the manager, you will either receive authentication or an authentication error. Upon authenticating properly, you'll get the management user interface homepage. Adding an identity source, you can add up to 3 identity sources. As you see in the screenshot here, by clicking Add Identity Source, you provide a name, you provide the domain name or FQDN, in this case, vclass.local. The type here is Active Directory over LDAP. You can then set the LDAP servers to define where those authentication requests will be sent, defining the base DN, and then a description if you would like. As part of it, adding an identity source, you specify the connection settings to the LDAP server. So by clicking the Set link, you have the opportunity to provide specific details about the LDAP server. In this case, the LDAP server hostname dc.vclass.local using the LDAP protocol over port 389. Once you log in to the Active Directory or Open LDAP, by you specifying the domain name on the login page, the authentication request will automatically be sent to the appropriate service for authentication of the user. And that concludes our module on role-based access control. Thank you.